The car moved again, but the air inside it was different now. He drove slower, deliberate, like every second stretched to hold back the inevitable. The rain had almost stopped, leaving the streets wet and glimmering under the city lights. Reflections of neon signs danced across his face, highlighting the sharp line of his jaw, the subtle tension in his shoulders. I couldn't look away. I didn't want to. I realized I had stopped breathing for a moment, caught in a suspended time between past and present. The memory of him, the man I thought I'd lost forever, was overwhelming. His presence, his voice, the way his eyes held mine in the rearview mirror, it was too much, and yet it wasn't enough. I needed more. Finally, I asked the question that had been burning inside me since he first said my name. Why did you leave me? He exhaled slowly, hands gripping the wheel. Because I had to, he said quietly. I had no choice. If I stayed, they would have used you. I promised myself I'd protect you, even from me. The words landed like a weight in my chest. I wanted to be angry, to scream, to tell him he had no right, but all I could do was feel. The love, the longing, the years of absence crashing over me. And now? I asked softly. Is it over? He shook his head. No. Not yet. They're still out there. His eyes flicked to the mirror, scanning the empty streets behind us. But I can handle them. I can protect you. You just have to trust me. My pulse quickened. And what if I say no? He turned slightly in the seat, finally facing me fully. The intensity in his gaze stopped my heart. Then I leave, he said, voice low and steady. And I accept it. The honesty in his words, the vulnerability, made the air between us crackle. I wanted to trust him, to fall into the safety of the arms I had loved so deeply, but fear clawed at my chest. What if staying meant danger? What if leaving meant losing him forever? I reached for his hand, almost instinctively. My fingers hovered over his, trembling, unsure. He noticed immediately, letting his hand brush mine lightly. The contact was electric. A simple touch and years of longing, regret, and unspoken words surged between us. Don't, he whispered, voice rough with emotion. Don't second-guess this. You've already survived so much without me. I don't want you to survive me leaving again. Tears blurred my vision, but I didn't care. I leaned forward slightly, letting my hand rest fully in his. Then don't leave me, I said. Not now. Not ever. He swallowed hard, eyes shimmering in the dim light. I won't, he promised. The city stretched out before us, wet streets gleaming, quiet except for the soft hum of the engine. We drove on in silence, but the silence was not empty. It was alive, filled with the words we hadn't said, the confessions we hadn't dared, and the love that had survived years of distance and danger. Then, the sudden glare of headlights from behind shattered the fragile peace. I stiffened. They're here, I whispered. He didn't panic. Instead, he tightened his grip on the wheel, eyes flashing with determination. Not for long, he said. My stomach lurched as the car twisted through narrow streets, taking turns with precision only he could manage. I realized, with a rush of fear and awe, that he had been preparing for this night for years, every choice, every risk, every sacrifice. He had been protecting me all along, even when I didn't know it. Will we make it? I asked, my voice trembling. He glanced at me in the mirror, a faint smile playing at the corners of his lips despite the danger. We will. Together. The words sent a shiver through me, not just from relief, but from something deeper. Something I had been denying for years, that I wanted him, feared for him, and would follow him anywhere. Finally, he slowed the car as we approached an old, hidden alleyway, wet bricks glowing faintly under a street light. We have to stop here, he said. It's the only safe way. I looked at him, heart racing. And then? He reached over and took both my hands in his, holding them as if he never intended to let go. Then we face them together, he said. Whatever comes, we face it together. But first, his voice softened, almost breaking. First, I need you to know that you're the only thing I've ever wanted. The only thing I've ever loved. And the only thing I'll ever choose. I felt tears spill freely down my cheeks. I had waited years to hear those words, to see the honesty in his eyes, to feel the love that had been there all along. I love you, I whispered, the words barely audible over the rain. I've always loved you. His hand moved to cup my face, thumb brushing my cheek gently. I know, he said. And I've waited my whole life to hear you say it. And then, in that narrow alley, surrounded by shadows and the soft scent of rain, I leaned forward and kissed him. It was slow, deliberate, and full of everything we hadn't said. Every tear, every heartbeat, every silent night without him poured into that kiss. He responded with equal intensity, hands framing my face, pulling me closer as if he would never let me go. Time collapsed around us. The rain fell softly, tapping against the car, washing the world into a blur of silver and light. For a moment, there was only us. Then the sound came, a low rumble of engines approaching. Danger. The threat we had been running from all these years. He pulled back slightly, forehead resting against mine. I need you to be ready, he whispered. Stay close to me. No matter what happens. I nodded, fear and trust intertwined. I'm not letting go, I said. He smiled faintly, relief flickering across his face. Good. The car doors locked automatically, his hand steady on the wheel. The headlights grew closer. We were outnumbered, outmatched, but I didn't feel fear. I felt resolve. And I felt love, burning, fierce, unstoppable. As the first shadows appeared at the end of the alley, he took a deep breath. Hold on, he said. This is our moment. I leaned against him, heart pounding, ready for whatever came next. And for the first time in years, I felt truly alive. Because I had chosen him. And he had chosen me. No one, and nothing, would take that away. The rain continued to fall, the city blurred into lights, and the car, our small, fragile sanctuary, moved forward into the unknown. But this time, we were together. And that was enough.